learning how to be a composer to conceive of the piece and develop it, and most of us, like I can play one instrument, maybe I can fiddle around on another one, but the composer has to know something about all the instruments and how they all work, how each one works, what its range is, what the capabilities are, and how they work together. And so it's really quite a complex thing for somebody to be learning how to do. And our winner is present today, Aaron Pettingill. So he gets to hear his composition played for the first time publicly. Maybe the first time by a whole orchestra. I don't really know. I think probably so, right?
Yeah, for this piece, yeah.
Yeah. And Aaron is a student at the University of Southern Maine, and he's a very accomplished violinist as well as a composer, and he's playing with us later in the first violin parts. He plays with the Bangor. He's the newest, youngest member of the Bangor Symphony Orchestra, I'm told, so he's quite a musician. So with that, we'll go on to the first part of our program.
The empty chairs you see over to the side here are where the Passamaquoddy Bay Symphony Orchestra is about to rehearse. They have 2 concerts here in Lubeck. And the first one includes a world premiere, the Ice Queen Dreams of Spring by Aaron Pettingill, and this is Aaron with me here. And Aaron, you were the first violinist with the Bangor Symphony Orchestra.
Yes, I play in the first violin section.
And this was a competition, and you were lucky, you won. You must be doing something right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, why don't you first tell us a little bit about the piece?
The piece is, it's funny because the name for the piece actually kind of came afterwards. I feel when I'm writing, sometimes the piece sort of starts to take on a life of its own.
Right.
And I had an idea for a title beforehand. The idea kind of came out because I had written a couple pieces that my composition teacher pointed out just both happened to begin with un. It was like un something. And so he's like, it would look really good in your portfolio if you wrote another piece that began with un. So the original title for this was going to be Unfrozen. I thought it was a pretty cool title.
Well, it's appropriate for Maine as well.
Yeah. I kind of had this vision, like I like really intense emotional music generally. So I had this almost vivid image of like a heart encased in a block of ice, sort of thawing out.
Now this was you submitted your piece for the competition for the Passamaquoddy Bay Symphony Orchestra. Did you have an idea about this before the competition, or did you begin on it after the competition notice?
The idea started before I heard about the competition, but once I heard about the competition, I thought it would be really cool to write it for orchestra. I generally try not to write for something that I can't get performed, so
right.
If I get the chance to write for orchestra, I take it up.
Naturally. And you're from where?
I live in Lewiston.
Yeah.
I grew up in Saco. I went to Thornton Academy, and I go to USM, so most of the year I'm actually living in Gorham.
And this is a world premiere. Nobody's heard this piece before, and you've got this nice little symphony orchestra to play it for you. Yeah. How does that feel?
It's really great. It's a totally different experience from like hearing the computer try to play it back.
Right. All those nice little tinny notes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. It's like but it just takes on a whole life of its own when there are actual people, actually playing it.
Performing it.
Yeah.
And this will be performed on Sunday, July 29th at the Lubeck School in Lubeck. It'll be a full concert, but it will include Aaron's piece. So, if you want to hear an original piece of music, a world premiere, you need to know. Thank you, Aaron. I'm talking with Holly Whitehead, who plays the cello in the Passamaquoddy Bay Symphony Orchestra and has been playing with them for 3 years now.
Correct.
And this is not a regular part of the season, these concerts here in Lubeck.
No, these concerts in Lubeck are a way that the orchestra can give back to the community, because the concerts that we give here are free concerts.
Right.
And they are concerts where Summer Keys students can come and join the orchestra and have the experience of playing with an orchestra. Many of those students never have before.
Right. Now, when did you take up the cello?
This is really embarrassing. I took up the cello the day I turned 60.
Hey, anytime you want to start doing something. I started acting when I was 50, so there we go.
That's right. That's the time to do it.
And how did you happen to get involved with this Passamaquoddy Bay Symphony Orchestra?
Well, I came to Lubeck initially to go to Summer Keys, and I fell in love with Lubeck. I bought a home here, and so now I spend a large part of the year here. And one of the reasons that I spend part of the year here is to do the spring concerts in June with the symphony, and then also the concerts in early November.
Yes. You're not the first Summer Keys student to fall in love with Lubeck.
I know.
It's been it has really helped to transform the town. And it's a wonderful thing in the summertime, not only to be able to listen to the free concerts they provide, but be able to walk up and down the streets of the village and hear music being rehearsed, and you never know where you're going to hear it.
You never know where you're going to hear it, and the cellists in particular are known through Lubeck, because everybody sees us walking around with these big cellos on our backs, and they call it turtle walking.
Well, yes, it does look something like that. Not quite like, I mean, the first image I have is of the old Elliott Nest, where people walk around with machine guns and violin cases, but this is a little bit different.
Well, when I came out of my door one time, going to a rehearsal, some children in my neighborhood, as I was holding my cello case, said, "Do you really carry guns in there?"
Yeah.
So at that point I decided I better open up the case and start to play.
Well, how about if you tell us a little bit about this concert today, the pieces you're playing?
This concert today is a series of pieces. We're going to have the original composition by Aaron,
Yeah.
which we're very excited about. We're playing
You hear that, Aaron?
We're playing the first movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. We're playing the overture of Mendelssohn's Hebrides, and we are playing a C.P. Bach Symphonia, and we're playing a Mozart, and at the moment I can't remember the other piece.
That's okay. People get to listen to it, and thank you very much, Holly.
Thank you, John.
Miraculous to say, there is a symphony orchestra in Washington County, the Passamaquoddy Bay Symphony Orchestra, that was founded in 2007, and its conductor is Trond Saeverud, who's kind enough to let us have 3 minutes of his time. And we're here at the Lubeck School, where they will be rehearsing for a concert tomorrow, Sunday, July 29th, and a second concert on Sunday, August 12th. Now, these two concerts are not part of your regular season. They're something apart from that in conjunction with Summer Keys.
That's correct, yes. We are working together. The two programs are putting them on together.
And this first one, tomorrow you've got a world premiere piece.
Yes, Aaron Pettingill's new piece.
And that was the winner of a contest.
Yes, open to students enrolled in universities in Maine.
Yes, and I know Aaron is a University of Southern Maine student.
Absolutely, and a player in the Bangor Symphony.
Yes, and the Bangor Symphony, my hometown, has been around for about 100 years.
Yes.
Passamaquoddy Bay has been around since 2007. And you have a second concert on August 12th, and you have some soloists from Summer Keys.
Yes, piano.
And they're all students of Summer Keys.
Absolutely, and most of them have never played with an orchestra before, so it's a very special situation and event.
So for both?
Yes.
Both for Aaron and for the soloist in your second
Absolutely.
concert. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, Trond.
Thank you very much.
So this will be the first performance of this piece, and I have promised Aaron that we will, in a year or maybe a little more, play it again in our regular concerts. It will have other chances in case something happens. First performances are a tricky business, but we'll give it our best shot.
Thank you.